Advertisements bombard us from all angles. On social media, it's up to every other post is an ad. On Instagram this morning, I did a quick survey and it was every third picture was sponsored. But it's not just the companies coming to us telling us that we need their products, it's also our friends. Today we're going to talk about the cases where your friends say, "This worked for me. I think it would work for you." How do you evaluate these things? How do you know if it might work for you? How do you know if you should try it or not? And then what do you do when you try it? How do you monitor it and make sure that it is something that you want to continue? That's what we're going to be talking about. I've got some tips for you and my criteria of how I filter advertisements and offers from friends to provide some help and products. January is National Thyroid Awareness Month. I did not know that until the second week of January. So during this month, we'll see more education. If you're on social media, you'll probably see it there. Know that this is the month where you get to talk about your thyroid, share with your friends, because so many women especially have thyroid problems. They don't know it yet. It takes years for most women to figure out that they have thyroid problems, and that's after they start seeking a diagnosis. So use this month to share information with your friends. Perhaps your friend has said that she's losing more hair than normal. Perhaps you're noticing that the outer 1/3 of her eyebrows is getting thinner. Perhaps you're commiserating about always being freezing cold. Maybe she's telling you that she's always exhausted, or she's struggling to lose weight and she can't figure out why nothing is working. All of these things are symptoms, can be symptoms of thyroid problems. The thing is, our thyroid affects every single cell in our body. So how your body and mind are going to respond to what your thyroid is doing is different than what your friend is doing. So share this podcast, share information on your social media so that more women and men can learn about the importance of knowing what your thyroid is doing and making sure that it's healthy. If you have not downloaded Hashimoto's 101 PDF that I created for you yet, now is a perfect time to download it and you can talk about that to your friends. And of course, being National Thyroid Awareness Month, I would absolutely love to help you figure out a kickstart plan to growing in your own health. Yes, you can have better health. So schedule your Hashimoto's health session with me so that we can help you make 2023 the best year ever. And along those lines of National Thyroid Awareness Month, you're going to see more ads. So we're going to talk about ads today and what to look for. When you say that you have a problem, especially on social media, do you have so many people start giving you advice? "Hey, this worked for me," or "This worked for my friend. This is what you should do because I've seen this work." This is all over. All of this health information, it can come from many different sources. It can come from like real experts. For example, on the last podcast episode, I talked to you about intermittent fasting and how it might not work for some people with Hashimoto's because the low blood sugar can be a stressor, a physical stressor, which can worsen autoimmune problems. So we talked about intermittent fasting, but intermittent fasting is all over. I'm sure you've heard it from your friends as well as experts and health educators because there are benefits to it. So first of all, I want you to know that you're not broken if you tried something that, the experts say to do and if it didn't work for you. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you tried something, you evaluated it, and you realized that that was not in your own plan for now. You are the CEO of your own health. So look at what works and what doesn't because you're an individual. And being an individual means that when you hear all of that information from the experts, or maybe it's ads, or maybe it's your friends, you get to filter it. So on Instagram, I use thyroid-related hashtags and Hashimoto's-related hashtags quite frequently, which means that I get so many ads for thyroid supplements, and I get so many things telling me that this is what I should do. Of course, we've talked about the word should in the past as well. And of course, when your friends find out that you're struggling with something, they want to help you too. So they're going to offer their best advice. Here are 3 things that you can do when you get this health information, this health advice, especially the "it worked for me, you should do it too." that type of advice. Number one, feel gratitude. Now, I am kind of a skeptic by nature. I love to research. I want to make sure that things are science-based. I really don't like hype. I don't like advertising. I don't want somebody just to say, this is awesome. No, I want to dig into the studies. So my first reaction sometimes is just skepticism of, you're just selling me snake oil, or you just want my money. And I'm trying to switch my first reaction to gratitude, because for the most part, people do want what's best for you. So they are offering this advice because they care. So whether you take that advice or not, try to switch your first reaction to gratitude. Thank you for thinking about me. Thank you for trying to help me. That shift in perception is going to make you a happier person. It's just a nicer way to go through life, to see the good in people, because they're going to offer advice whether you take it or not, and whether you feel skeptical or not, they're still going to offer that advice. So number one, just feel gratitude that they care about you and they want to see you feel better. Then comes step two. Like I said, I'm skeptical and I want to see the science. Somebody on LinkedIn shared a video with me and it was pure hype. There was absolutely not a shred of science. It said basically every woman needs this solution, and it listed a bunch of problems, but there was zero science with it. It didn't tell me what the product was. It said coming soon. It didn't tell me even the type of product it was. It just said that basically every woman needs it. I was like, no, absolutely not. Every woman does not need this, because I don't know what it is. Show me the science. And I am always going to go there first. I look at the science. I want to know, what are the studies? Are there third parties that have tested this and looked at it in research? What's the quality? And then what are the ethics of the company? So allow me to share a story about how this has worked in my own life. A few years back, I contacted one of my friends. She is a holistic nurse. She is a mentor of mine. I really appreciate what she has to say. I was seeking some solutions. So I talked to her and she told me about a mineral product. Now, I already knew minerals were important, and she educated me a little more about why they're important. And at that time, I didn't realize that every single enzyme reaction in every single cell requires minerals. In my head, I knew they were important, but I didn't know why. So once I understood why they were important, I was hooked. So she told me about this product that had over 70 minerals. It was super bioavailable. She told me all of the science things, but also incorporated, how it could impact every single cell in my body and help me out. I looked at the studies. I looked at third-party testing. I looked at the quality, and I compared this product to other things on the market that were the same basic substance. And what I found is there was a huge difference in quality. In fact, one of the companies got shut down by the government because they had, I think, arsenic and lead and other things mixed in, which is just horrible. And yet they were telling people that it was pure and safe. It was not. So I looked at the quality and I looked at the ethics of the company. I decided to join my friend in this company, and I would talk about these minerals, and I loved them. What happened about a year later is the company that I had joined got acquired by another company. Now, I had already looked at the studies, the third-party testing, the qualities, and the ethics of the company I had joined. Well, when they were acquired by a different company, the ethics of that company were not the same. And I broke up with that company. I loved the product, but I could no longer send people to a company where the ethics were not okay. So I went through all of the steps. I evaluated things. I implemented this in my life. I monitored how it affected me and my kids. They were taking it as well because we all need minerals. Then I had to reevaluate every once in a while, especially once it got acquired by another company. We are always implementing, evaluating, seeing where things are now. Of course, I still take a mineral product. I just take a different one than I was using at that time. Every single cell in my body, in your body, they still need minerals. Every single enzyme reaction within your cells needs minerals to power it. So I still need those minerals. I just no longer can support that company. It doesn't mean my relationship with my friend has changed. It just means that I said I need to pivot on this path. So you can always do that. Be looking at what you need. Look at what your cells need. Again, healthy cells, healthy organs, healthy you. So look at what your cells need and then figure out how to meet those needs. Always be implementing, monitoring the progress, seeing how things are going, and be ready to pivot if you need to. I hope that story is helpful for you in like a real life application of how I use this process. First, I look at the studies, the science, the third-party testing, the quality, and the ethics, and then I evaluate, is this right for me? So in my flood of Hashimoto's related ads that I've had lately on Facebook and Instagram, I get to evaluate, is this right for me? What does my body need? What are my current labs? I know what my TSH, my T4, my T3, my free T3, I know what all of those were the last time I had them checked. So I can, number one, evaluate, what is this supplement promising? Do I even need to look further? Do I need to look at the research? And then if I decide, this is probably something I want to investigate more, then I can dig into it. When it comes from a recommendation from your friend, whether it's for, nails or hair or essential oils or supplements or activators, there's so many different things that people are talking about because quite honestly, most people in the United States right now, I'm guessing in other developed nations as well, most people have at least one other side gig or side job. And for a lot of women especially, it's social selling or network marketing. Because when we find something that we like, we want to talk about it. And most people are sharing that information because we want what's best for you. We have found something that we appreciate and that we think will help. For example, when that company got acquired by another company and I could no longer stand by their ethics, I went looking for another company that I could recommend to people because I know that we are under attack from all sides. The environmental toxins, just as one example, we're exposed to so many environmental toxins every single day. The nutrients in our food are not like they were years ago. The soil that our foods grow in is mineral deficient, which means that goes to our food, which means that affects us. I want you to be the healthiest version of you possible. So I know that I need something to be able to point you to, this is going to help you. And I always go to the cellular level first. If you don't have healthy cells, you can't have healthy organs. If you don't have healthy organs, you can't have a healthy you. I talk about it in terms of Legos sometimes. My kids love Legos. We have 1 million of them in our house. And if you don't have good, solid, intact bricks, you can't build good structures. That's like the cells in your body. So when I'm looking at a company, when I was going through this process, I looked at so many different companies because I wanted to find one that had good science, that had third-party testing, that had high quality, that had good ethics. These are just some of the things that I look at. And of course, when a friend comes to me and says, "Hey, Esther, I am using this supplement or this whatever, I would love for you to look at it." Number one, I'm practicing gratitude. Thank you for thinking of me. And then I evaluate, is it a good opportunity? Does my body need this? Is it going to impact my health at a cellular level? And usually the answer is no. I try to tell them that nicely. So you get to evaluate that for yourself. Is this something that I feel like my body needs? And if so, then you say yes. And if not, then you say no. If you say yes, that's step 3. So step 1, express gratitude within yourself, within your own mind, and verbally if you want. And then step 2 is evaluate what they're saying, what the ad is saying, what your friend is saying. And step 3 then is to implement and monitor. So when you are trying something out, you can write down how you're feeling. I have my wellness wheel that tracks your health in 10 different areas. I love that. It's always good to have a baseline. So know what you're trying to fix or what you're working on, what aspect of your own health you're working on, and then write down how you're doing in that area right now. Because it happens over and over that people start to feel better and they forget what they were feeling before. So write it down and then implement this new thing and then evaluate. Evaluate, that day. Evaluate after 48 hours, 7 days. Give your body time to actually utilize what you are giving. So if it's something like an essential oil and you're going to put it in your diffuser and you're going to smell it and it's supposed to help with anxiety. Okay, so you're going to evaluate that right then. It's going to kick in really quickly and you're going to be able to see how it's working for you. If you're taking something like CBD for sleep, I use an Aura ring and it monitors my deep sleep. It monitors all my stages. I really like it for that sleep aspect. And I monitor how is this impacting my overall sleep, my length of sleep, my deep sleep, and how do I feel in the morning. And I don't just do that for one day. For the CBD, I monitored it for about 10 days before I made a decision, am I going to buy more? I've talked to you a lot on this podcast about activating your NRF2 pathway, your NRF1 pathway. When it comes to those, ask the person who is talking to you about them, how long should I evaluate? Well, for those, we typically say, you don't feel oxidative stress, that rusting of your cells. You don't feel it happen. So you're not necessarily going to feel it getting taken care of either. It's the downstream effects that you feel. When you have oxidative stress affecting your cells, well, just go to PubMed.gov, I think it is, and type in oxidative stress and then whatever else you want. Oxidative stress is at the root cause of so many disease processes because when you have rusty cells, you can't have healthy organs. You can't have healthy organs, you can't have a healthy you. So when it comes to oxidative stress and those activators, we typically tell people, try it for 1 month for each decade of life. So if you're in your 50s, you're going to try that for 5 months before you make a decision. So how long you are monitoring this really depends on the type of product it is and what benefits you're hoping to see. We're always going to be hearing ads, whether it's from companies, whether it's from social media, whether it's from our friends that we see in person. It's always good to have a framework by which you can evaluate, is this the right opportunity, the right product for me? Should I implement it or not? And then know how to look at it, how to evaluate it, and then give yourself the freedom to pivot if it's no longer serving you or if things change, like the quality or the ethics. Tell me over on Instagram, what is the last thing that you had recommended to you as it worked for me, I think you should try this. I hope this has been helpful. And during Thyroid Awareness Month, make sure that you are telling people about thyroid. And I would love it if you share this podcast or, like I said, my Hashimoto's 101 PDF with people so they can learn and they can also create better health. We all have an opportunity to create better health. I want that for you so much. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please be sure to discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional.